Welcome back, everybody. He returned to the warm embrace of his supporters and countrymen after serving a jail term in the United Kingdom for defrauding Delta State, a state he governed for 8 years. He was even said to have used Delta State as collateral for 40 billion naira loan when he was governor. But he appears to be loved by his people despite his dirty antecedent. At least so the United States Kingdom court said before he was jailed. Mr. Ibori is still facing a confiscation trial in the United Kingdom, but returned on Saturday to Nigeria. What next for him? Let's take a quick look at his antecedent. Mr. Ibori served Delta State as governor from 1999 to 2007. In December of 2009, a federal high court sitting in Asaba, Delta State, discharged and acquitted Ibori of all 170 charges of corruption brought against him by the EFCC. On the May 2010, Ibori was arrested in Dubai. February 2012, he was convicted in the UK. Part of some of the charges that he was discharged and acquitted for in Nigeria. In December 2016, Ibori was released from UK prison. On the 4th of February 2017, on Saturday, he returns. He's facing a confiscation trial in the UK. Let's hear Mr. Falana's take on this. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria. He's been talking to us on this. You can see Mr. Ibori now returning to Ogara, his hometown. What comes to your mind when you see that kind of image of someone who is said to have even get a collateral to be or to have defrauded the state, and yet it comes to a warm and a cheerful embrace of his kinsmen?
Well, I see subversion of national values. I see a mockery of our national morality. I see a country that is being exposed to ridicule before the Committee of Nations. Because if this were a Nigerian affair, you might want to excuse a ruling class that has lost its sense of shame. But when you find that this matter has gone beyond the shores of Nigeria, we need to be cautious. The British government issued a statement yesterday, significantly, to the fact that we have dealt with this guy under our law. But we are not done yet. We are going to pursue vigorously an asset recovery process and ensure that the funds stolen from Nigeria, transferred to the UK, are repatriated to Nigeria. That statement is very significant. The British government is saying, we have only dealt with him for the laws that he violated in the United Kingdom. We have no business with what happened in Nigeria. If another country says that to you, we need to be circumspect in writing these stories, in reviewing this event. But let me correct a misleading impression, in your summary. Chief James Ibori was not discharged and acquitted in Nigeria. He was not tried at all.
Really?
Yeah.
What about the judgment of the Federal High Court?
The Federal High Court, presided over by Justice Marcel
Awokule, yeah,
upheld the preliminary objection of Chief Ibori's lawyers. Did not go to the trial, did not examine the charges, and simply said, you have no case to answer. A few years later, the Court of Appeal, sitting in Benin, set aside the judgment, the ruling, and ordered that Chief James Ibori be made to stand trial. That order has not been set aside. So it's beyond the government in power, whether he joins the APC or not. It's beyond the EFCC. There is a valid and subsisting order of the Court of Appeal that Chief Ibori be made to stand trial on the basis of the 170 can charge.
When he arrived in Nigeria, we understand that he met with the director of the DSS. What do you think that the government, for example, the government of Buhari, who says they want to fight corruption, what do you think they should be doing now? He's faced the charges in the UK, but in Nigeria, what do you think the EFCC
no,
and perhaps
the DSS came out to say, oh, we welcome him back home to his fatherland. Oh, yes. Of course, that speaks volumes about the business going on in Abuja with respect to the anti-corruption war. Yes.
It makes a joke of it.
The Ibori case is unfortunate. Much as one will want to sympathize with him, having regards to the fact that many of his colleagues with whom he was charged in 2007 are not only working free, some of them are in the Senate making laws for us. Oh yes. Their cases have been subjected to indefinite adjournments in our courts. So, for him to have gone through these travails, you cannot but sympathize with him. But your sympathy is eroded when it is demonstrated there is no sober at all.
The sobriety should be...
In any part of Nigeria, I mean, until recently, in any part of Nigeria, if you were jailed, go and find out. You don't go back to your village. You will be lost in the city. You'll be forgotten in the city. You don't dance. You don't celebrate a return from prison unless you are a political detainee or a political prisoner. But anybody charged and convicted or jailed for stealing or looting the treasury cannot become a hero in any civilized society.
But what do you think the EFCC should be doing on this case?
No, it's not what the EFCC should be doing. It is that there is a valid and subsisting order of the Court of Appeal, which has not been set aside, that Chief James Ibori has to face.
Is it the Attorney General that should be taking that up, or whose duty is it to take that case up? The trier?
No, of course.
When the court has said that it should face the
no, the EFCC filed the appeal. The EFCC succeeded. The EFCC will have to, go back to court.
If you look at what is happening with the anti-corruption fight, for example, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the panel report from the National Assembly, the interim report, which indicted the Secretary of to the Government of the Federation. Some people are asking, if the government is serious about fighting corruption, something should be done about that. Do you see the body language of the government of the day as though fighting corruption?